Hi guys, Samantha from Jessama Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a Skinner Blend mica shift, a mica smash, and how to create an earring with that. So you're going to need some metallic clay, and now I'm using Cernit today. However, you can use Primo, Kato, Fimo. There's a bunch of different metallics, so feel free to use any brand you want. But the colours that I am using today are, let's see, this one's champagne, steel, and turquoise. And I've got them conditioned into rough square shapes, and all we're going to do is we're just going to take that and we're just going to press it into a triangle, because we want to make a Skinner blend with these, like so. So just press all of them into triangles, and then we're going to put them together. So we could put the green in the middle, and then the blue and the gold on either side, like so. Okay, and then as for this excess, I'm going to just trim off the top there, and that can go back into the package. And I'm just going to trim away a little bit more on this side as well. There we are. And then we're going to turn this into a Skinner blend. So I'm just going to roll this through my pasta machine on my thickest setting, like so. Then we're going to fold it. You always fold it the same way. You do it so that you only have one colour on either side. So this has blue, this has gold. However, if you fold it this way, you can see you have gold and blue. That indicates you're doing it the wrong way. Then I roll it through again. And you'll just continue doing this until you have a nice even blend, and that should take around about 10 to 15 rolls at least, sometimes more. And here is our blend. Now this is the cutter I'm going to be using, and you can see we're not going to get the full blend, so we need to shorten this. And all you do is you'll just fold it in the right direction again, like so. Tuck in these little folds, and on either end just stop pressing, like so. And this is going to shorten the blend, and there you can see that just about fits. Then we're going to roll that through our machine again, like so. And I'm going to run it through once or twice just to smooth out these edges, which are going to be a little bit crackly. And it will just press on them like so, and then roll it through again. Okay. And each time I'm just going to check, and I'd say that we're good to stop about there. Okay. So now we are going to create our Skinner blend. And now it is important, if you look on this side, you can see there's a little tear over here. Just smooth that out. But what I want to point out is over here. If you have this on the side that you want to do your mica shift, it's not going to come out very well. You want it to be a smooth Skinner blend with no obvious imperfections. The edges over here, you're not going to get a great mica shift, but that's fine because we don't need the edges. But you essentially just want smooth, continuous colours across the blend. Okay, and now I'm using this really nice core roller from the Desert Spot. There are a bunch of different core rollers you could use. You could use just about any texture stamp you want for this, but I'm going to be using that core roller. Now, before I start, and this is just to smooth it onto a tile, I'm going to take a piece of plain printing paper and I'm going to burnish thoroughly. And this is just so that it sticks down to our tile before we start rolling. And then I'm going to start from one end and pressing firmly, I'm going to start walking it up. And I'm walking it because I get more even pressure and I generally get a deeper imprint. Just continue doing that the whole way up. And there we go, that is what we have. Now don't pick it up because we want to be shaving off our mica shift, and so it needs to be stuck down to our tile pretty well for the best result. So take a nice thin blade, and we're going to start on our beginning part over here. That's generally the best place to start. And we're just going to start shaving like so. And now try not to go too deep. It can be a little tricky sometimes, but try not to go too deep. And just continue gently shaving the pattern until you've done the entire surface. And keep all these little bits because they're going to be used in our next technique. So you can see we're getting a whole bunch of pieces over here. What you can do is you can just gently lay them down on top of each other, like so. Just squish them down. And just continue adding the leftovers. You still can't see that, so yeah, just squish them down on each other like that. And I'll continue doing that. Okay, and here's how it looks. So now we're going to take a piece of plain printing paper, and we're just going to use that to smooth the surface flat. Because if we have any bumps or grooves that were caused by the blade, we don't want those at the moment. We want it nice and smooth because that makes sanding later on so much easier. Just make sure you got that right. And then repeat. And then we can choose the best spots to cut out our earrings. And there we are, I think I've got everything. Okay, you just want to look from the side, see if there are any bits that you missed, and generally around the ends are where you will miss. So I've got some on this end that I need to smooth out still. Okay, and then one on this end. And there we go, that looks about right. Okay. And now I'm just going to leave it stuck to the tile so that we can cut out our piece. The more stuck down to the tile it is, the easier it is to cut out your pieces. So let's see. Just looking for the nicest spots. Okay, so this spot down here looks pretty nice. So when you press down, just make sure that you do that properly. Lift straight up and you should be left with something very similar to that. And I'm just finding the next spot that I think looks the best. Okay, there we are. And there we are, we have two nice pieces. And then I'm just going to lift this up. And now you could cut out another pendant if you wanted, or another piece if you wanted, but we're going to use this now. So any waste is fine. So these I just want to gently smooth off. And then you're just going to put these as they are straight into the oven at Cernet's recommended temperature for a full hour. Okay, so while those are in the oven, I'm just going to bring over these pieces that we used for the scraps. And I'm just going to bring over these. And this is just going to be a temporary backing, so just take it and roll it through your pasta machine down to about 1 millimeter thick. Like so. And then just use that to press this on. And then grab a piece of plain printing paper and burnish it off. And there we go, that's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, then I'm going to run it through to make sure it's 1 millimeter thick again. and you will do the same with this one. And there we go. Then just burnish those flat onto your tile so that they're stuck down well, and then take a circle cutter that is going to work well with the size of your earrings. And now I want to see if I can get 2 out of this one, because this one's my favourite because the ferns are a little bit more compact. Okay, press, twist, press and twist, and there we go. So I didn't actually need that one, that's fine. Put that away, we'll use that later on. And then put these in the oven as well for the same amount of time as your earrings, or just with your earrings if you are able to wait. And then when they're done, we are going to work on our backing, make it all pretty, and then we can start sanding, resining and assembling. Okay, so these are out of the oven. Let me just bring them over, and you can see there's been quite a colour change when they were in the oven. Let me just bring over our original mica shift. And you can see that it's gotten a lot more metallic, and those shapes of the mica shift have really jumped out quite a bit, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to leave these off to the side for a little while, and we're going to start working with these. So you're going to need some pearl white. Now I don't think Cernit has pearl white. I've had a look for it, but I haven't been able to get hold of it. So if they do have pearl white, let me know, and if you know of a place to buy it, let me know as well. But as far as I know, I don't think Cernit metallics have a pearl white. So I'm going to be subsidising that with some pearl white. So I've got that, and then I've got our scraps over here. I'm going to leave the other mica shift alone for the moment, and I'm just going to use this to start with. Okay, and I'm just going to run my pearl white out to about 1 millimetre thick, because that's how thick our mica shift is here. So take each of those, and if you can, try to roll them out neatly to about 1 millimetre thick using the pasta machine. There we go. Alright. So now we're just going to start taking that, and we're just going to start ripping pieces off. And just sticking it together at random. And just continue ripping and sticking pieces all over the place until you form a nice large sheet that we can then use for our backing. Okay, and here it is, just about done. So now I'm just going to take a piece of plain printing paper, as always, and we're just going to start burnishing this. Okay, and once I've got it mostly done with my fingers, I can go in with my roller and really press quite nice and hard and get this smoothed out. Okay, let's have a look. Looking good. Okay, and now I do want to stretch this just a touch, so I'm going to pick it up, and then I'm going to run it through my pasta machine on the thickest setting, which is about 2 millimeters thick. Then I'm going to take it down, roll it through again until it is at least 1 millimeter thick. So you can see we're just stretching it now. And there we go. You can see what it looks like on the back. Both sides look good, but this is my preferred side, definitely. Okay, so it's about 1 millimeter thick now. So now we're going to bring over these pieces, and we're just going to bring over some bacon bond as well. And actually I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid clay, Kato liquid clay. Any translucent liquid clay will work. Okay, and I don't want to add much. And then with each piece you'll just take that and smooth it along the surface. Like so. And now I've got a bit much on there, so we're just going to take that and we're going to smooth our finger over, and any excess is going to get wiped off. Because we just want it to be sticky, we don't want it to be swimming in liquid clay. So that's about what you're looking for. Okay. Just bring this over and make sure you've got the side that you want covered facing up. And then take each of these and just press it onto the clay and move it around until it starts to feel like it's sticking. There we are. And the same with these. Okay. Then just using a craft knife, trim around those edges. Like so. And repeat with all of them. So you have a nice clean cut. Then just lift your excess. Like so. And then I'm just going to attempt to pick this up and keep it stuck, so hopefully it will stick. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then just press along all of those edges to make sure that it's nice and stuck properly. And just press quite hard against the edges, because you're going to be beveling it and you're also just going to be sticking it up against the side, getting rid of the sharp edge that the craft knife will have given. And just repeat what I'm doing with this one with all of them. Okay. Then using my finger, I'm actually just going to smear these off rather than cutting off. It will leave a smoother, nicer finish in the end. And just taking all those bits and just taking them off. And then after you've taken off the bits, you'll just smooth along the sides. And basically everything I'm doing, repeat for the others, and you should end up with something that looks nice and well finished off. And if you do this bit properly, you will not need to do a smear or anything to finish off the edges. They will just need a light sand, which is always great because I know that a lot of you struggle with the smear technique. Okay, we're just about done. Okay, then just clean your finger off quickly because it's going to have clay residue on it, and then just smooth gently around the edges, and any smudges that you have will ultimately get cleaned up when we do our sanding. Okay, and let me just move these out the way. Then take a piece of plain printing paper and just use it to gently smooth the top. Free of fingerprints. And just twist it around because you should be able to see if there are any fingerprints left. Then press it down onto the piece of printing paper, and you'll bake it on that piece of printing paper along with the others for about 40 minutes at Cernet's recommended temperature. Okay, and just before these go into the oven, I just wanted to mention a few things. So just first, the cutter that I am using are my Loopy U-turns extra large, and this is the one that I'm using. And also the circle that I'm using is the smallest one in my circle cutter set. So I just wanted to point that out quickly. Another thing I want to point out is how thick I make my earrings, because this comes up as a question quite a lot. I tend to make them roughly around 2 millimeters thick. That's generally how thick I like to make them. You can make them thinner, but I like to make them that thick. Also, your clay is going to be flexible if it is baked properly, so hopefully you can see here. You can see it, this is pretty flexible, and most brands of clay that are proper have a certain amount of flexibility to them. So if your clay is flexible, it means that you have baked it correctly. If it is brittle, then you have not baked it correctly. So that is just something that I wanted to point out quickly before putting these in the oven. You can see what they look like so far. Okay, so our pieces are out of the oven, and I've just let them be cooling off in some water, just so that they're hard enough for us to work with. And you can see they've still got a certain amount of flexibility to them. So here's the back. You can see how nice that looks, and you could even have reverse earrings now if you wanted. You could have them that around or that around, or as I showed you before. So that's quite nice. So now we are going to get onto sanding, and I'm going to start with some wet dry sandpaper. I'm going to start with a 400 up to a 600, 800, and then finally a 1200. And then after that we're going to move on to some polishing papers. And this is just going to make our mica shift really stand out. So hopefully already there, after doing that sanding, let me just rinse it off. Hopefully there you can see the difference. And then sand the side again, and it should come out looking the same. Okay, you can see it's starting to move. Give it a rinse, and you can see it looks much better. So you can see sanding really does make quite a difference, and that's only on 400. So I'm going to sand the front, sides and the back with this 400, then 600, then 800, and then 1200. And then when we are done with that, then I'm going to move on to polishing papers, which are just going to give us a nice polish. Okay, and they're all sanded and they look quite nice. Now they've still got a matte finish, a clean matte finish, but matte nonetheless. We're going to need to bring out our sanding papers to help fix that. So I'm starting with the 400. You're just going to start sanding vigorously. You can already see that starting to shine up a bit. And I go from a 400 all the way up to an 8000 on these. And I don't tend to sand the sides because they don't really need to be shiny. They are nice and clean now. They don't need to be shiny. We'll give them a light buff later on, but other than that, we don't really need to sand them. So just continue sanding up through your grits until you reach your 8000, and then we're going to move on to buffing. And I've decided I'm probably not going to resin these. I'm just going to give them a really nice sand and buff, and we'll see how beautiful they come out that way. You can already see what a difference those two grits have made. Okay, so I've finished sanding all of those. So let me just bring them over. And you can see just with the sanding, we've got a beautiful finish on there. I'm just trying to direct it correctly in the light so you can see. There. And all of them are like that. And you can see I still have the original mica shift here. You can see how different it looks. Okay, so now we're going to start buffing. I'm going to be using my Dremel 3000 for this. And I am also going to be using some Renaissance wax. And I'm just going to open that up and grab a little bit. You just want to brush that over the surface, rubbing it around. And don't forget to apply to the back as well. So I just like to rub that all in. Okay. Then take your wheel and we're going to start buffing. And that will be enough for the moment. I just want to show you what that looks like. See how beautiful and glass-like that is. And I just want to show you that versus this one, which has not been buffed yet. You can see it's a huge difference. So I'm going to continue buffing this one, and I'm going to put Renaissance wax on the others, buff them, and then you want to leave them for about 15 minutes just so that the Renaissance wax has enough time to dry, and then we can proceed to create holes in our earrings. Okay, all done. And you can see how beautiful and glass-like that is. And they all have deeply, it's impacted the colours quite a bit. It's made it a lot richer in colour, which is awesome. Now we're going to take a drill. Just going to centre that. Drill. There we are. Very easy to do. And just go back the other side and drill through that way just to clean up the hole. And repeat with the others. Okay. Then you're going to want 2 jump rings and an ear wire for each earring. Just grab that jump ring, open it quite a bit, pop that through, oops, close it up, and then just twist that open end into one of the holes so that it is not visible. Open up the other one and attach your ear wire. Just spin that around into the opening. There we go. And there is our earring. So let me just bring over the other one, which I have already completed, and just show you what these two look like. And I'm very happy with how they look. They look very tropical in a really nice way. Let me just brighten up. There we are. Okay, so that is basically it for this tutorial. It was a fairly simple tutorial today. I felt like playing around with some mic shifts and creating something simple but really fun to create. Realize that you can use any brand of polymer clay that has a metallic effects line in it, but I really like the Cernit because they have colours in their line that don't have low mica content. That's why I chose not to use Primo, because I find that the mica content in Primo's colours are a little bit lower than I would like, and the mica shift quality in Cernit is really nice. And also Cernit buffs up really nicely. It's one of those brands that has a really nice effect after it's buffed. So that is why I chose to use Cernit. But keep in mind you can use any brand of polymer clay. And so that is about it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.